Hello everybody and welcome back to Broden Plays Tides of Numenera, Torment. I actually said the phrase, and I even said it correctly. Look at that. I am growing. I'm a growing boy. Let's see what's going on here. There's something to interact with over here. Towering above you is an enormous archway of metal and synth. Energy pulses through the structure, spilling from thin, transparent panels in subtle shades of golden cyan. It appears to be dormant, but very much alive. The archway emits a low and constant hum, just at the edge of your hearing. Across the top, illuminated words are inscribed. The House of Empty Time. Heavy rope-like cables connect the archway to the strange generator nearby. The workmanship of this device is quite different from that of the generator. If the generator bears the mark of a brilliant mind, connecting technologies in weird and unexpected ways, this archway is merely clever. Like a gifted student imitating the work of a master. You suspect that it owes much of its functionality to the generator from which it draws its power. It also appears to be a more recent construction. Try to activate it. You scan the parts of the arc that are accessible from the ground, but you don't see anything that resembles a control device. Finally, you give up your search. If the arc can be activated at all, the method is unclear. Perhaps it could only be activated by the words of its creator, or someone designated by that person. Such things are not unknown to the Nth world. Can we interact with the generator?
Yes, now.
Power still flows through this ancient device. A brassy heartbeat pulses within it. Just at the edge of hearing, and tiny bubbles orbit the entire structure. No, not bubbles. Holes in space. Examine the device. The generator combines a huge number of mismatched parts into a functional whole. Once again, you notice the circunet symbol etched into the side like a maker's mark. For a moment, nothing lies beyond the tiny holes but utter darkness. Okay. So we now know where the device is. And I think it was Sigyn who knows. The woman is dressed much like the levies who flank her, but unlike them, her expression is sober and alert. Her hair is cut short, the corner of her eyes wrinkled with crow's feet. Huh? Okay. A little swarm of mechanical drones circles around her, buzzing messages in her ears. She whispers replies in return, and every so often one of them whisks away, disappearing into the city. What is it, citizen? She pauses, eyes darting to your tattoo, then to your face. No. You're the one they call Adin. I heard you were in the city. You sense sudden wariness in her. It's been 10 years since your last visit. I was too young to know you then, but the drones remember. What do the drones remember about me? On cue, two of her attendant drones dip close to her ear, emitting a stream of raspy noise that might be some sort of language. You kept to your own affairs, but everywhere you went, the city held its breath. People deferred to you. Even the ones with power and influence. You look the same as you do now, exactly the same. I want to know why. And if you don't mind telling me, I want to know what you're doing in Sagis now. The stories they tell me are troubling. Eye on this one. I'm trying to escape a creature that's hunting me. Smoking tendrils, grasping talons, a towering nebulous shape. She sees the look on your face and nods. I've seen it, but only through the eyes of a drone. Not long ago, it killed a man in the streets, a man with the same mark you bear. If anyone else knew, there'd be panic, even if it's only hunting people like you. I haven't told anyone, not even the council. What was it you wanted? Who are you? Captain of levies. I'm not a levy myself, but I command them. What are levies? She gestures to the two burly, smiling men to her left and right. They look like identical twins. Soldiers in the council's service. They keep order of the city. Every citizen is required to raise a levy for the city's defense. The price is a year of their lives. Your levies keep every district safe. No, Underbelly lives under its own law. Cliff's Edge lives under no laws at all. A man called Folsom. I don't know anything about him, except the council needs him, and so does whatever he likes. Seem awfully happy. A smile and a pleasant demeanor could have 100 explanations, yet this whole city is fooled by them. She shakes her head. I know the levies better than anyone, so the truth is plain to me. But I'd be lying if I claimed to truly understand them. If I only had a year to live that wasn't my own, I wouldn't be happy either. If I only had a year to live that wasn't my own? Huh. Anyone who lives in the city can become a citizen at 16 years of age, or the equivalent, if they're not human. There's only one requirement. They step into a machine at the Order of Truth, and it takes away a year of the citizen's life. It uses that year to create a levy. She lowers her voice, seemingly for the benefit of the levy standing beside her. That 1 year is all a levy gets. When it's over, they die. What? Why don't you send them to the cliff's edge? A lot of homes have been collapsing, and the city hasn't been able to help. Her tone is cautiously neutral. The council believes that the presence of levies can incite them to violence. It's the Memovira. The council's giving her free reign outside the balloon as well. I have other questions. What were you saying to those drones? So they carry my orders to levies around all over the city, and they bring reports from the levies back to me. She reaches out a hand, and one of the drones buzzes something unintelligible. A few years ago, the Aeon priests found them buried underground and brought them back to life. I learned their language, so our conversations are safe from prying ears. Okay, what's in the building behind you? She frowns. How is it that you don't recognize the seat of the government? I know you lived here for a time. I must learn more about these cast-offs. Something isn't right about them. To tell the truth, I've lost my memory. You've lost more than that. I've seen images of you, though the eyes are through the eyes of the drones. 10 years ago, you moved differently, carried yourself like a king and the steadfast. You've lost your soul, or gained one. She's not who she was. That's a pain I understand all too well. I don't mean to be harsh. Thank you for being honest with me. She waves a hand at the doors behind her. The council meets in there, a representative from every slave family, and from some of the guilds, depending on who's in favor. Hardly anyone goes in through the doors, though. They're just a formality. Most people have other ways of getting inside and out. I've never seen a building like this one before. What is it? They say it's a ship, built by the ancients to sail the void between worlds. Now the crag grips it tight, like an old husband holds his wife, and it'll never sail free again. Okay. Farewell. Thanks for being honest, man. That was awesome. You know what? It's time, guys. It's time to go to the underbelly. Climb down. We're doing it live, folks. We're figuring out what to do. Okay. Alright, so the guy who's in charge is none of these people. Let's go. Segments of this bisected construct's legs lie scattered around it. Someone has painstakingly altered these pieces, giving them small limbs and tiny metallic heads. Nonetheless, they aren't moving. The larger construct's turquoise eyes flicker out of sync with each other as they turn towards you. Crippled foreman. You feel a bubbling sensation in your mind. It must be the construct's surface thoughts. They are too quick and alien for you to make any sense of them. I do not understand, it says, the voice emerging from the grill around its eyes is soft, as though you are hearing it from far away. Don't they want to live? The viaducts are open. The commands are received, and yet its eye lights flutter. Every time I give my children life, die. These are your children? Not anymore, it says. Now they are inanimate and lifeless. Their adaptive personalities have been lost. I do not understand why they are dying. I have given the subject of my procreation a great deal of thought over the last century, and there are no errors in my calculations. My assistant Tarnish built my children's bodies to my precise specifications. Their intelligence reservoirs are shielded against permanent loss. Its eyes look away from yours as if it is embarrassed, and I want them to live. That should be enough. Let me examine them. He does not protest, so you examine the motionless constructs on the ground in front of the foreman. From what you can understand of the technology here, the foreman is correct. These little constructs should be working, but they aren't. It may be possible that the flaw is not in them. You share this information with the foreman. I agree, it says, and I believe a new direction has presented itself.
I'll remember that.
Okay. My children need more energy to live, but my construction prevents me from transfers above a certain threshold, and for good reason. Pupils rotate, contracting. Energy transfers above a certain percentage would lead to a chain of ruptures in my intelligent rings. I would die. Its voice mesh clicks. Help me force myself to make this transfer, for I cannot do it myself. Help me give life to my children. Will you help me? Yes. Speak to Tarnish, my assistant. He may be able to help you understand how I function if he is feeling well enough. Can I examine you? Yes, it says. Tarnish, open my preservation hatches and viaduct shields, please. The elderly workman shuffles over and does as he asked. You've never seen technology like this. Wires pass through glass tubes threaded with pale light and star-speckled darkness. You glance over at Tarnish. He's looking away, arms crossed, as though unwilling to watch a stranger tinker with his master. The tubes themselves have an oddly organic configuration that curve through several mysterious, brushed cases. From what you can see, the foreman's trouble is not due to his physical body. Something must be wrong with the intelligence itself, foreman's mind. Why do you want children? Need, the construct says, not want. Its pupils study the distant ceiling. When I was born, I began working in seconds. I did this until our Creator shut down our bodies. In the millennia since, I have focused on designing the infrastructure beneath the other foreman's work and instructing workers on how to execute on these designs. Eventually, I realized I was unhappy. From time to time, my workers brought their children to the manufacturing, holding their small hands, explaining the mysteries of this place to them. It began as a thought. What would I teach my own children? Be curious, to explore, to ask foolish questions, to see the world above that we three have never seen. The foreman's pupils reappeared, and when I thought these things, I saw the shape of my children outlined by daylight. They already existed. You seem very dispassionate about your failures. What? I have been through 27 iterations of birth, with each attempt more of my non-essential personality and intelligence rings ruptured. Foreman's eyes dim. Know that these small bodies are only bodies. 27 versions of my children have lived and died within them. Know that they lived long enough for me to understand their personalities and name them before they were purged. Lost. A sound whirring issues from the mesh around the foreman's flickering eyes. I will not. It is not an era I wish to revisit. Speak with the master foreman instead. Tarnish, what up, dude? The elderly man stares vacantly at a distant wall, muttering under his breath. His hands flex on the air, twisting and tweaking as if he is repairing a machine only he can see. He jumps when you draw in a breath to speak. Yes, what? He says. His eyes rove past you, halt, then return focus on your face with some effort. Ain't you a quiet one, he says cheerfully. The under-foreman makes more noise than you. We should hang chimes from your ears to keep you from surprising people. What do you need? box of foremen. Well, they are, he says, flapping his hand about the cavernous foundry. The constructs. They're frozen in their tracks, but they run this place together. Huh, what do you do here? I take care of my master, he says simply, the under-foreman. There used to be more of us when he was making things, but when he lost interest, the master foreman, he jerks a yellow thumb at the construct at the center of the chamber, hired them all, offered him more. Harnish spits on the ground. Happened a while back, but I won't forget a slight. He's a good foreman, maybe the best, if he didn't have this fool idea in his head.
Making a note.
Tarnish says, his eyelids flutter. Not sure, I've been tinkering with this one for 50 years, and I still only half understand him. You might try examining him on your own, or you could try talking to the Order of Truth. They know more about old machines than I ever will.
Updated my
How do you feel
journal.
about the goal? It's a fine thing to want children. Wish I'd had them myself. Too late now, of course. No lady's knocking down my door. He cackles. Of course, when people have children, it doesn't come at the cost of their lives, most of the time. And that life doesn't belong to a creature that's older than oceans. It's a shame and a waste, but he wants what he wants. He always has. Doesn't mean I won't miss him. What will I do? He goes. I know it's selfish, but... How long have you worked with him? Couldn't say. On my first day, I'd already met my wife. But she was still married to, what's his name? With the fish hook tattoo. And I hadn't lost the finger and thrown it back yet, so he appears at the seething mouth working 70 years, give or take? I should retire, but there'd be no one left to mind him if I left. What would I do with myself anyway? I keep calling him a he. I've worked for him a long time. Guess I stopped seeing him as a thing and more like a him. All of us have our little ways, even him.
I'm ready.
Your assistant Tarnish doesn't want you to die. If you're gone, he'll have no one. Can you find some other way to have children? I want to examine you again. That worked? Wow.
Making a note.
You hear a faint rhythmic clanking, as though a gear has come loose in a distant ancient clock. He has served me more than well, the construct says at last, but softly, and he is not young. A sigh rattles from the mesh around its eyes. Perhaps I will wait. Run more tests. I have nothing but to do.
Yes, now.
You do know that you decided to live on. Study the deaths of my children so I will not fail in the future. Count the minutes until I can try again.
I'm going. All right.
Construct looms over you, frozen in mid-step. Its heavy limbs and barreled body have been recently polished by careful hands, but the joints themselves are completely fused. This creature hasn't moved in a long time. It studies you with its eyes made of swirling orange fire. As with the other construct, you feel the bubbling sensation in your mind. This construct's thoughts are likewise unreadable. Late for your first shift, Synth Smith. Grab a station and a hammer and damn well get to work. You call all your workers by their position. It saves time. You workers break so easily, or die, or retire. It saves all the distaste in its repertoire for the last word. Now, get to work! After an hour of work, the master foreman bellows you back over. You go stretching your aching arms. You feel somewhat stronger than before. Supervisor tells me you're not the Synth Smith he hired, but I gave you some work to do, and you damn well got to it. I respect that, but we only take on experienced synthsmiths here. It's fiery ice flare. Now, I don't want you thinking we let people work for free. I, the supervisor, leave you some shins for that hour of work. Take it. Nice. Permanently gain 1 might. Now, why are you actually here? Who are you? I am the Master Foreman, the mind and the will behind the city you see today. No, I don't need to. Once we foremen were the tools of the cartographers and their vast web of machine intelligences, submerged in the song of their will, we worked with thoughtless joy. Then one day, the song fell silent and our bodies froze where they stand even now. Some of us lost our faith in those first few centuries. Some of us thought the cartographers were punishing us, or they had abandoned us. Only I saw their absence for what it was. His words grow hoarse. It was a gift of free will. We were we were their tools no longer. We were our own masters, freed from the chains of the thoughtless motion. Free to imagine our future, and so we did, for millennia. We don't know, it admits. The most we know of them is their names in the code, and the vessels we're building for them that they never claimed. Our creation came at their order, but we have never known their faces, only their song. While others dithered and wailed, I bent my mind to the failure. It continues. I analyzed the work we had done for the cartographers. To my shame, I found flaws in the processes. I removed them. Its eyes burned brighter. For the next cluster of centuries, I studied the vast catalog of known technology and Numenera in my mind and strung them together, creating new inventions for the day when the cartographers returned and reactivated us. But they never came. Yes, and though you are flawed and fragile, you make perfect tools, just as we had once been. Your people found us, and the era of my greatness work began. They asked us to help them raise the city until it cast all others in shadow, to cobble their artifacts and their trinkets into grand devices that would power every corner and make them safe from their enemies. And I told them I had a plan. You see the fruit of our mighty effort all around you. I may have some business for you. You need work done? If it could be built, fixed, or solved, you've come to the right place. Consultation, eh? Tell you what, bring me a piece of the device to examine, and I'll count the examination as payment for advice rendered. Deal? A short consultation isn't worth the cost of an invoice. Bring the shard or don't. I'm busy here. I don't have one on me. Go find one. I don't hazard guesses. I analyze, design, and execute. Okay. I'm pretty handy with machines. Want me to try repairing them? Keep your hands off me. If I wanted to be repaired to defy the will of the cartographers, I would have had your ancestors do it centuries ago. Have some sense. You don't seem to respect your workers very much. Wrong. I pay them well and design safety measures to lower the acceptable worker loss threshold. I treat them better than they deserve. When the passing workers rolls his eyes. They're lazy. They demand time for sleeping, eating, fornicating, and excreting, and they refuse to tell me when each activity occurs. They are disorganized. I would replace them with automatons in a second if I had proper materials. Why are you so loud? Maybe you haven't noticed, but it's noisy down here. A foreman who doesn't shout can't be heard. This is the volume of leadership. Can't spend much more time shouting. You've shown an interest in us, and I appreciate that. The truth is that there are no other foremen. Not really. Yes, there are. No, there aren't. You two all hit me like this? The artisan is a weaker mind, tarnished by our long years in the dark, it says. It does nothing but ridicule my great work. The truth is that we were once a single mind, but when the cartographers left us, our minds settled into different containers, pools, if you will. And while theirs grew stagnant and self-indulgent, mine remained clean, untainted, and pure. While the years poured past, I felt the slow ruin of the city of the cartographers had left behind. It haunted me, and so I vowed to undo the damage that time had done. Dang, dude, all we're doing is talking lately. Talk. need a break from the from all the exposition. You set up the world. That's great. Okay, I get it. This is a complex world. There's a lot of stuff going on. That actually ends it for this episode. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, please click like button. Helps out a great deal.